In this lesson, we're going to be dividing monomials. Let's take a look at our first example. We have 2 squared over 2 to the negative 3 power. Alright, so if we have the same base, here we have is 2. Keep our base, and when we're dividing when we're dividing exponents, we want to subtract the exponents. So this is 2 to the second power minus negative 3, which is the exponent in the denominator. So our two exponents are 2 and negative 3. We're going to subtract the exponents. So again, keep our base. Our base is 2. And if we do this here, we have 2 minus negative 3, which is the same thing as saying 2 plus 3. We get actually 2 to the 5th power. Okay, let's step it up a little bit. We have x to the negative 6th over x to the negative 7. Again, my base here is x. Keep my base. And we're going to say negative 6 minus negative 7. Again, we're dividing, so we're going to subtract. Keep my base. Negative 7 becomes addition, which becomes x to the first, or just x. Okay, let's bring this up. So now we're going to apply some multiplication and division together. So we're going to distribute this negative 2 to both of them in a sense. So a squared raised to the second power becomes, remember our rules, squared to a power, we're multiplying. So a to the 4th, b to the 8th. So 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8 over. Here we have to the first power. This becomes negative 3 times 1, which is a to the negative 3rd, and b to the negative 3rd. Okay, so I'm going to look at these separately here. A to the 4th over a to the negative 3 is really going to the same thing as saying a to the 4th minus negative 3 times, here we have b to the 8th over b to the negative 3, so we have b to the 8th minus negative 3. Simplifying these both, we get a to the 7th power, b to the 11th power here. All right, let's take a look at another example. A couple more variables, but same concepts here. So again, we have coefficients in this one. Let's take care of our coefficients first. 6 and 54. We could say this is going to be 6 goes into 54 9 times, so 1 over 9 here. This simplifies as a 1, this simplifies as a 9. All right, and I'm going to concentrate on my f's here next. We have f to the negative 2, f to the negative 4. So I'm going to do that here on the side. So f to the negative 2 minus negative 4. Here it becomes negative 2 plus 4, which is f to the second power, or squared. Here we have g to the third power divided by g to the negative 5th power, so 3 minus negative 5. This becomes plus, so we have g to the 8th power. And then finally here we have our h, and we have h to the 5th minus 13, and here we got h to the negative 8. Okay, so here's our one dilemma here. We do not want a negative exponent. So remember, if you have a negative exponent, in order to make that negative exponent a positive, if it's in the numerator, you need to change the position and bring it down to your denominator, and vice versa. If it was negative in your denominator, change the position and bring it up to your numerator. So in this case, my final answer here would just be f squared g to the 8th over 9h to the 8th. Okay, and just to review the negative exponent, ab to the negative 2 power is the same thing as saying a over b to the positive 2 power. If this was another example here, if you had a to the negative 6th over b to the negative 3rd, to rewrite these as positive exponents, this negative 6, a to the negative 6 will go down in my denominator as a to the positive 6th, and the b to the negative 3rd would rise to my numerator as b to the positive 3rd. Okay, so again, you just negative exponent just changes the position. All right, and here's our final answer. Let's take a look at one more example. All right, so we have the whole quantity here raised to the second power. Now we could do this two different ways. It doesn't matter which way, it's your preference, okay? We could take a look at both ways. Method number one. We can try to simplify inside first and then apply the exponent. Again, it's up to you. Alright, so 2 over 3 doesn't simplify, so that stays the same. This is a to the negative 2 over a squared. So if you think about this, this is going to be a to the negative 2 minus 2. So it becomes a to the negative 4th power. This is b to the 4th minus negative 2, which gives me b to the 6th. And then finally our c to the 5th minus negative 3, which gives me c to the 8th power here. And is all going to the negative 2 power. So here we have given the negative 2 to everybody, so this is 2 to the negative 2 power. A to the 8th power, this is negative 4 times negative 2, which is positive 8. B to the negative 12th power, and C to the negative 16th power. Over, and then we have negative 2, and we have 3 to the negative 2nd power. Alright, so my first line of attack is my exponents. This one's negative. I want to bring him down. This one's negative as well. I'm going to bring him up. So this is really 3 squared in my numerator over 2 squared in my denominator. Okay, the a to the 8th is positive. I'm going to leave him alone. So this is a to the 8th. If you notice, the b to the negative 12th is negative, so I want to bring him down. So this is going to be b to the positive 12th. And this is c to the negative 16th, and he's also negative. I also want to bring this down as c to the positive 16th. And then my last piece here was just to reduce these. 3 squared is 9, a to the 8th, over 2 squared, which is 4, b to the 12th, c to the 16th. Simplifying those two, and that's all she wrote. Your second line of attack for this one, or another method, you could actually apply this negative 2 to everything right away. So again, this would be 2 to the negative 2 power, a to the negative 4th power, b to the negative 8th power, and c to the negative 10 power, over 3 to the negative 2 power, a to the negative 4 power. I'm sorry, this top one should have been positive 4. B to the positive 4th power, and C to the 6th power. Okay, simplifying these. Again, you want to simplify these the same way. Bring this one to your numerator, bring this one down to your denominator. So here we have 9 over 4. This is a to the 4th minus negative 4, which becomes a to the 8th, b to the negative 8th minus 4, which becomes b to the negative 12th, c to the negative 10th minus 6 becomes c to the negative 16th. These two terms here, with the negative exponents, are going to come down below. So 9 a to the 8th over 4 b to the 12th c to the 16th. And if you notice, you have the same answers here as the previous problem. It doesn't matter which way you do it. Sometimes you'll notice as your problems, different problems you see, it might be easier to do it one way than the other. Just trial by error.